Hey everybody, this is day 11 of Pray 714, and today I want to wade into the tension that most everyone is feeling about when do we start gathering in person again with our local church family. When does that happen? And I have found, even in my own church, I have two extremes. I've got people that are restless. They're the people that are like, bless God, we need to meet now, and we can't be a people of fear, and they got a point. And then I got people in my church who I would call are anxious, not dealing with anxiety, but overly concerned that the church moved too quickly and it become a ground zero, a hot spot for a resurgence of COVID-19. And they legitimately love the church. And so you've got these two groups, and they both have valid points. And quite honestly, I think most believers fall somewhere on that spectrum and they lean towards one or the other. So what is the right avenue? What is the right direction? Well, before I talk about maybe direction and timing, let me encourage you, focus on who you are and what you're about. You are a man or woman of faith. And because you're a person of faith, you will always side towards faith. Now, what does that faith, when that gets fleshed out, what does that look like? Well, at some point, your faith is going to have to motivate you to cross the threshold of the church, going to church, while also probably crossing the threshold of your own fear and concern. You will have to probably do both at the same time. But that's okay, because that's what faith does. Faith is always confronting fear. Now, when do we cross that threshold? That's a discussion, and I think that's a decision that only you can make. And I think it looks different for every individual, every family. I think it looks different for every church. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to judge people that differ from me. No, I'm going to love and respect where people land. But I'm always going to be a person of faith. Hebrews 10 says this: don't forsake the assembling of yourselves together, as is the habit of some. Hey, you don't want to be in the some. I don't want to be in the some. And I don't want to forsake the assembling. But I don't want to be foolish either. But I do want to be a person of faith. So I'm going to grow in my faith. I'm going to exercise my muscles of faith. See, I know fear. I grew up with a lot of fear. I had a speech disorder. I stuttered, I stammered. So I had this internal fear of speaking in public, and a fear of rejection, and a fear of man. I also almost drowned one day as a kid, so I had this fear of water. I've had lots of fears. And here's what I found, that the only way to overcome fear is for you to be a person of faith, and to use your faith, and to feed your faith, to grow your faith, and read scripture feeds your faith. But you know what? You also got to exercise your faith. It's like a muscle. And like any other muscle, if you don't exercise it, atrophy sets in. So why am I bringing this all up? Because at some point, you and I as Christ followers are going to have to exercise the muscle of faith, cross the threshold of the church, while also crossing the threshold of our fear. And that's okay, because that's part of us exercising that muscle of faith. Now, when do we do that? I want to talk more about that tomorrow. And I think it looks different for everybody, but I have some practical things I think can help you when you begin to try to navigate this difficult season in your life. Know this: I'm praying for you, I love you, I believe in you, and you're not alone.